Oh, double whammy.
Oh, holy, we're here.
We got two of you.
Yeah, there's two of me. I don't know how this is happening.
I
Whatever.
love it. This happened last time with
It's the
someone.
ego and the higher self right here.
Yeah. Hi, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just at work right now on my break, chilling.
Cool. It's good to
Yeah.
see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see you too. So I guess because I actually only really have like 10 to 15 minutes left myself, so I'll just get right into the question. But you already know what up. Um, it's pretty much that question that I was asking you on Instagram, like like what's your take on like discipline and stuff? Because like with me, like I understand, discipline and things like that, but like what grinds my gears when it comes to that is like I feel like when I'm forcing myself to do something, it's like I'm putting it like I don't have it yet, or it's like it's outside of me, and I just really like to go with the flow of things, but I understand that you got like that things got to get done, and there's desires and goals, but I don't know, for me, I just like to be in the flow of everything. But you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. It's one of the things I've been battling with this week. It's really what you're talking about is it being in alignment with higher self or being in alignment with soul, whatever you want to call it. So you're what I feel like we are being forced into more and more is learning how or remembering how to move from the center or the alignment of higher self, like you call it, or soul. And it's difficult because that's a flow state. It has to feel right. So there's when you're in alignment, it feels right, regardless of like what money you're making or where you're working, or there's a energy that just I feel in alignment, and it's not based on any external situation. It's not based on what you're getting back from the external world. That doesn't matter. It's a feeling state where you're like, oh, this feels good. And from that feeling state, the universe just starts bringing things to you effortlessly,
Yep.
right? And so it's when the more and more that you feel that, the more uncomfortable it is when you're not feeling that. And when we try to push ourselves into that flow state or push ourselves into alignment, very, very, very uncomfortable because you can't do that. So you have to kind of show up where you're at, aligned or not aligned, and then you have to keep in your awareness the feeling state that you have felt before of that alignment. So what is it? Remembering what that feels like. Because you're either in alignment or not in alignment. And once you're in alignment, you know what alignment feels like, and it feels right. So, because here's the thing, you could have goals and you could be moving towards something if it feels in alignment,
Hmm.
right? Because you're in alignment. So you're like, yeah, I'm in alignment and I'm moving towards something. It feels so good.
Yep.
But if you're not in alignment and you're pushing yourself towards a goal, what's the point? You're
Right.
just efforting towards something that's not really in alignment. So then the question becomes, why are you trying to get somewhere that doesn't quite feel in alignment? Like really ask yourself, what do like last night, it was like, what do I want to feel? What's my core? What do I want to do on this planet? What do I want to feel? How do I want to be? And if I can get to that place, then the all the other details start to unravel. But if I'm acting like, oh no, I got to go make money, I got to put up another class, I got to do this, I got to do that, that's not in alignment. That's a doing, acting, going towards something like movement, but it's not the feeling state of it.
It's also acting from like a place of fear almost too.
100%. Yeah, because you're 100%. That's the ego death. It's
Yeah.
like the ego's like, no, we've got to have things planned. We got to know where we're going. We got to know that we're taking steps to improve our lives. We've got to make sure that we're like, So if I just kind of chill out and accept what is, I'm not growing. I'm not expanding, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, but your soul's trying to get you, or your higher self is trying to get you to settle into it. It's trying to get you. So the mind's going to go, 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 which is the ego. And your job right now is to go remind yourself of what it feels like when you're in alignment with higher self. That's it. What does it feel like when I'm in alignment with my higher self? And the more that you can feel into that state, the more confident you're going to be to not follow what the ego is trying to get you to follow. It's going to become more and more obvious. So you got to let that ego get loud. You got to let the fear get loud, because the louder it gets, the more you'll be, as long as you're recognizing it simultaneously. What does it feel like when I'm aligned with my higher self? Like that embodied, what does that feel like to you? And then, okay, here comes fear, here comes lack, here comes I'm not, doing what I'm supposed to be doing on the planet. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know. I feel stuck. I feel like I'm in a rut. Um,
Hmm.
all of that is like the dark kind of thought forms that have most likely been with you for a very long time, that are what is holding you back from that aligned state. So it has to come up, it has to continue to be shown to you. It's going to get louder and louder. And this is literally the battle of the higher self and the ego. I
Yeah.
love that we have both of you right now, right?
Yeah.
Both of them are beautiful. They both deserve to be here. It's like, yes,
Right.
both get to be here and be a part of this conversation, you
You
know?
know,
Yeah, it's like they're both here and they're both incredible.
that's right.
But it's time to start to trust the Wes that is the higher self, the higher version. And so really it's about what does that, when you were in the moments of flow, when you were in the moments where you were lit up, right? So forget
Hmm.
about what you were doing, whether you were making music or whatever you were doing. Forget about what it was that you were doing. Just the feeling of feeling lit up, on fire, in flow, like, oh, this is it. This is what life's about.
Yeah.
That is when you were in alignment. The details don't matter. So it's not like you have to be like, oh, now I got to go make sure that I'm only making music in order to be in that state. No. You
That's
just
that.
need,
That's a good statement that you just said.
you need to come back, all you, because you don't know. The ego, the little ego Wes, wants to know the details.
Right.
Okay. And the higher self Wes, just it knows how it's going to do it. And so the ego that's been taking control for so long just needs to tap into what it feels like. And so because what you're doing when you do that is you're moving away from letting the ego control. And it's really challenging. And if it's anything like what I've been experiencing, it's can feel like fucking hell, because it's like you know that, like, forcing and pushing into something doesn't feel good, but you don't know what else to do, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So tap into what do you want to, and give yourself, you know, go and like take a moment and, tonight if you can, or somewhere by yourself where you're like, I mean, really tap into your higher self and what what does it feel like? What does alignment feel like to you? And then even kind of when you start to feel into that, like, try not to go into too much detail, right? So just keep it in feeling states. And then what would that app make once you tap into the feeling state of it, then it's like, well, what would that look like? And just because I guarantee you it's very simple. It's very it's not complicated.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you can tap into that, you'll it'll help you move through what you're navigating right now. What are you supposed to do? Where are you supposed to go? Because that push, that determination, that commitment, that consistency is important, but it's not important if you're going against flow, if you're just doing it so that you can do it, so that you can get out of something you don't like, but you're still not necessary like, consistency and flow, commitment, it's not something you have to force yourself to do when you're in a flow state, like when you're connected to higher when you're in alignment, I should say,
It's just happening.
just happens.
It's like when you say surrendered action.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a and we can't get ourselves there. That's what sucks is like, I mean, you listen to like a David Goggins or someone like that, and I would say David Goggins is absolutely in alignment with his soul, 100
Yeah.
billion%. Like you listen to that man and you get inspired because he's in alignment with soul. He's doing exactly what his soul has asked him to do. He went
Yep.
through hell and he failed many times and he really had massive breakdowns. But
Hmm.
and so now he talks about commitment and staying focused but if you're not in an aligned state and you're trying to be pushed through and into something that doesn't feel in alignment, it's going to be like you're working against the river. It's gonna feel so uncomfortable. Um,
Hmm.
and so it's not so much about commitment, consistency, that kind of stuff. It's more of what does it feel like when I'm in that aligned state? And you know what it feels like because you've been in it before. So you just want to keep tapping back into that. And that's the practice. That's truly the practice.
Yeah, it is the practice. And it's like basically I already knew what like I already know what you're saying, and it's like I get caught up with like, you talk about it a lot and we've talked about it before. It's like social media does that, and then sometimes you might be like could be first thing in the morning, which is like the most kind of like unconscious part of the day, unless like you really take control before. I mean, you can go on Instagram or whatever it may be, and then you're seeing all of these things, and then you're like, now I gotta go and do this. This is how my day's gotta look, because if I don't, then this person is gonna be ahead of me. But it's like there's no one ahead or behind you. Like we're all just beside each other, and we're all just doing what we want to do. Like, we're human beings, so just be.
Man, I'm telling you, you're speaking my language right now because one of the things like that I was noticing this past week where I was like really in some dark places, it was social media that really sparked the fires. It was
Yep.
like, "Oh, you wanna torture yourself some more, Lori? Go on social media." And then
Hmm.
I went on social media, and it just lit the fires of insecurity, and doubt, and fear, and anger, and all of it all the little devilish parts of my mind that play out just intensified tenfold. So I said, "Well, Lori, your ass better get the fuck off Instagram ASAP and continue to stay off Instagram because if you don't, um, you're making your battle, you're making your fight in the ring right now against ego and higher self, so to speak, 10 times
Yeah.
more difficult. It's like you're cutting off your leg and then you're like, "Hey, go back on the fight out in the fight." And you're like trying to bring yourself back to the aligned state with higher self, and you just keep sabotaging yourself.
Yeah.
And it's addictive, and it's like we are it's like we're punishing ourselves because
Hmm.
who you are, this unique expression of Wes, is so gifted and so beautiful and so inspirational. And to be able to live in this world right now and survive and pay your bills, but also start to kind of commit to like it's like you have to have this narrow focus where you're truly just focusing on your life, just what's around you in your life, the people, the places, the job, whatever, your life, and what your highest calling is, which is alignment with higher self, and just getting
Yep.
yourself back into that. And if you can bring that in more and more, cut out all the distractions, even if you try to do it for like a week. So literally the moment you see yourself scrolling, just get off. The moment you watch something that's like making you feel insecure, you just get off. The moment you're like somebody's creating something and it's making you just get off, because
Yeah.
all that does is just uh like unravel the threads of this beautiful kind of blanket that you're weaving in your life. So it has to be, there has to be a narrow focusing and a quieting of all the distraction right now. Truly, if you really want to go in, and create the kind of deeper purpose or work that you came here to do, it's less distraction, more of less distraction.
100%. Sometimes too, like, and I realize that, I don't know, I'm having like a transition with it, but there was a time where I would like, so for example, I make music. So there's like other artists that I follow that are in my like local community. And so say there's days or weeks even that I haven't really like done much, but I'm seeing like the other artists doing things. I'll like mute them so I don't see them, right? But I'm still following them and stuff, right? And then days will go by and then I'll maybe chill out. And then there's like that thought of, well, if you're looking for support, you also get to support others too. And then it's just finding that like place where you can support someone without being like jealous or feeling like they're better than you and stuff. Like I posted one of this old clip that I had in the podcast last year, and I was saying, why would you hate on someone who has the same dream as you, or like the same passion or love uh, for something? It may not be the same thing, but it could be anything. Even though they're doing it differently than you may not agree with it. Don't knock it because they have a dream just like I do. They love something and have passion for it just as much as I do. So it's like salute them. Why would I hate on them? So I'm kind of getting to that place. Not that I hate anybody. I can't stand that word, but it's the feeling. We're humans. We have egos, so we kind of get like, jealous, right?
Yeah, I heard a podcast the other day. I was listening to this podcast, kind of like a religious podcast, but I like some of the things the guy was saying, and he talked exactly about this. He said it's around jealousy and envy, and he
Hmm.
said he, um, he said it so much more eloquently than I will, but basically, you recognize that what's actually happening is that they are showing you what's possible, what's available. So it's like, wow, if they can do it, I can do it. Like, instead of like, fuck, they have that and I don't, it's like, oh my God, if they're doing that, think of what I can do. Or if they have all that money, think of what I could have. If they have that amazing house, thinking of like external, whatever, think of what
Yeah.
I could have. Like, they're just showing us possibility, right? And I
Yep.
thought that that was such a beautiful um, reframe. And the other thing around jealousy that I always sit with is many times when I have found myself jealous of specific people in my life, and it's always like specific people um, that I'm literally comparing myself against for months. I recognize later on, like after the fact, that they were just showing me where I'm going.
Mm.
And so I'm when jealousy comes in, it's like, oh, okay, I can't necessarily fight against it. I feel it, I see it. Um, but one, using that new technique that guy said of like, oh, look at the possibility. Like, wow, look at what they're showing is the possibility. And two,
Okay.
the reason that there's such a trigger inside of me is because they're simply just reflecting back to me what's coming for me. It's just not in this moment. So you
You know,
already know it's coming, it's just not here now, so you get really fucking angry that someone else is doing what you already know you're gonna do.
Yes.
You know, and you're just like,
Yeah.
"Ah!"
And what just came up for me now, which actually find interesting, it's like, okay, I'm not getting jealous at the guy who just got promoted in the office at like law firm or something, but I'm getting jealous at at people who are making music. So it's like if you're wanting to know what your purpose is and you don't know, find out what you get jealous at.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, there's this amazing quote. I found it. I wrote it like years ago. Let me read it. Hold on. It's so good. Um, your greatest attribute can become your biggest insecurity.
Mm,
I thought that was so good because it's exactly what
that's
you're
hard.
saying. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yep.
that one thing that makes us the most insecure, that triggers us the most, that really drives us into deep insecurity and deep jealousy, and like that drive and commitment that you have to make music is also the biggest curse. It's like
Yeah.
it's the biggest torture in your life because it's not going away. You can't seem to be doing it good enough and well enough and fast enough and successful enough, right? And that's the ego trying to do what it does in through this programmed world. It's like we're programmed into this comparison, and you know, I mean, think about school. You go into kindergarten, and it's like, you know, you're already graded. There's an A per teach. There's an A kid and an F kid. Like there's
Yeah.
already comparison. It's so deeply ingrained in us.
Yep.
So
No, since the beginning.
patterning, yeah,
Numbers, you got an A, they got a C, they got 100, you got 50. Like it's your A since the beginning, you know?
yeah. So it's in you. It's you. Your music is you. So now it becomes, you know, more of a relationship around battling. It's truly battling the the kind of f- what I like to call now these entities that are thought forms that are just so powerful. They're like little parasites, and they're really really strong, and they're very very powerful, and they convince you of things that are simply not true. And so you know, I think this year, 2024, I was saying that I felt earlier, a couple months ago, I was saying I think 2024 is going to be this really subtle time of distraction. And I just didn't realize that distraction was going to be um, the intensification of these thought forms, and how we're
Mm,
going to be kind of fighting, really fighting against these thought forms
yeah.
um, more and more. So that's what's happening.
That's why people gotta go and take a line class. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yo, I'm telling you, yo, uh, come get aware, come get aware. You know?
Oh, I love you, my friend. I'm so glad you're here.
Yo,
Everybody missed you when you came back last month. Everyone's like, "Yeah, Wes is
I'm
back."
here. I'm here, yo. I got like 3 jobs and like girlfriend and everything, so I be like busy and stuff. But I'm always watching the replays. Like I'm always staying up to date, untangled, whatever, and just doing my best, And thank you for picking me again today. I know it's been a while since we connected like this. I was thinking last night too. It's ironic that we connected today. I was like, man, I'm so grateful I got the opportunity to meet you in person. Like if it ever happens again, which I feel like it will, but I'm just happy I got to, even if it was just once, because like you changed my life, immensely. And I know you say like don't put people on a pedestal, and I believe in that. But there's something about the things that you say and how you say it that just resonates deeply. And it's like I feel like for me, I can't go a day without at least, even if it's a reel of Lori. Like I just something there's something, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking for myself, maybe I'm speaking for others, but there's the way that you come across that feels so real, authentic. You're not trying, it's not coming from your ego. It's coming from a place of like love, and you just want to see people grow. And you're showing us your growth as you're helping us grow. And I feel like that's a great example of like humanity.
I love that so much. Thank you for that. And you know,
Yeah,
yeah, we're all here just doing the best we can together, side by side, you know.
yeah.
So
And
yeah.
thank you for showing up in every way. Like you've been doing the the Sunday emails, the new meditations, which I've been doing too. Patreon, Untangled, Align, like Instagram, you name it. Now you're doing the series for your book. I'm like, yo, but that's an example of somebody who loves what they're doing, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing because you're being an
Thank
example for me and others. And thank you again. I'm gonna definitely watch this again because I gotta go back to work now. But I'm gonna dissect this some more. And to everybody else who's gonna connect with her, just know you in for greatness.
Are you
Mhm.
good? Hey Wes, are you good if we post this on
Oh, 100%.
okay,
Yeah,
perfect. Yay. Thanks, my love.
100%.
So good to see you.
Yeah, yeah. You already know what it
Mwah.
is. Love. Hope
Bye,
everybody
love.
has a good day. Peace.
Bye. I love that there were two of him. And we were talking about, I don't think I'm supposed to be drinking coffee anymore. The last couple of mornings, really been upsetting my stomach. Seriously. Hi, Pua. All right, let's go. I see you, Sabine. I see you, Ashley. Let's get Sabine in. Wow, it's already 8:46. Holy cow. How'd that happen? Okay, I just invited Ashley in.
Uh, Hello.
Hi, did we do you last week?
No, actually, it's been probably a little over a year since we got to connect
Have I
live.
done a session with you recently?
It's been a while. It kind of feels like it was yesterday, but it's been like well over a year. The last time I talked to you, let's see, thought I was going to get a hospice job, and then they took away my job offer because I have a medical marijuana card. But then that aligned me to the next greatest thing that I've been working for a woman, Sandy, independently, great family. So I've been learning so much. And you said to me something's in store, and so I've been rocking with that.
Yay. Oh, you look so I feel like I just saw you yesterday, so that's so
That's
interesting. Okay.
funny.
Hello, my love. What's
So
up?
I've really been struggling with rejection in a childhood friendship and learning to accept that people go their ways, everything arises for a reason. To cut a long story short, a childhood friend basically said she didn't think our friendship is in a place to go to Italy for a big music festival come June. It was really hard to hear. It's like a lot of travel that I've always wanted to do. And with friends, like we've always said since we were kids, she would love to bring me to Israel. The friend we're going with, who's from Italy, like it was this whole experience that I would have loved to join in on. But it gave me the clarification of, okay, your friendship has shifted over the years for whatever the reasons may be. It pisses me off so much that it's because politics, the craziness of the world, that's what really helped with our divide. But we both let that divide happen. So I am just like so triggered by this trip, and I'm like, it's a damn vacation I can't even afford. All jokes aside of it, and I don't want to hold on to resentment to not go out to a concert with a group of friends because that girl's going to be there and I don't want to hear about them planning the trip. You guys deserve the trip. I don't want them to have a bad time, or anything dangerous to happen. But the way I get triggered and stuck on this, I'm like, it doesn't even care. Like, it's literally a trip. Like, it doesn't even matter. I've been holding on to this. It's just like stuck energy in my body that I can't release. And I'm hoping for some sort of guidance because in my heart, I don't want to hold on to it anymore.
Yeah, I hear you. What is the emotion?
Sadness, because I feel like I hate that we've let worldly events separate our childhood friendship. Like we walked into sixth grade math class together with Miss Bailey crying. We said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Your parents will tell you." Well, that day was 9/11. Like that's how I remember me and Sam's first day as being friends. We've gone through so much together. It just makes me sad that we both want good for humanity, love humanity, we have different ideas of how we could get there as a human collective, but all this extra nonsense has divided us. And it breaks my heart because there's so much more. Like, love is so much more powerful.
What
Yet, present day, it's
let me ask you, forget about what she thinks, okay? And even what the rationale around all of it. What is happening internally? What is the deeper voice that's saying what are you taking in based on what she did? What are you saying to yourself about yourself?
um I'm learning more of the value of a friendship, of any type of a relationship. Unconditional love. Doesn't matter if you've known somebody for a day or 12 years. And I want the unconditional love. I want to feel worthy. I don't want to have to work for a friendship.
So when she said she didn't want to do this trip, what was the initial feeling that you felt?
Rejected.
Perfect. Okay. That is what is coming up, is rejection. And so everything else is just us trying to figure out and make sense of everything. Well, she did this and I did this and we should be able to do this and I got to get over this, but the core issue is rejection.
Yep.
That is what is being asked to be felt, and that is what is being asked to be seen, and that is the gift that she's giving you. And that's really what you're asking to release from the body, so it's like we make up all these other ways in which we want to get this out, like we just want to be able to move forward, but it's this rejection. So it's like, okay, I have just been rejected. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. There's this belief that you were rejected and that feeling that came in of rejection. And so then what we want to do is, okay, is there a part of me next to the part that believes she was rejected? Because you did believe you were rejected in that moment. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had that initial reaction of rejection, which most of us would have experienced. Okay, so you're no different than anyone else. A lot of us would have experienced this feeling of rejection, which then can do a domino effect. And the domino effect can be, there's something wrong with me, or I need to find better friends, or why can't she just get over this, or maybe I'm supposed to get over this, or maybe we're supposed to have a conversation. I don't understand. I just need to let them be able to go and do what they need to do. I need to be okay with this. We go through this like rigmarole of how to deal with the rejection. There's a part of you that's standing right next to the part of you that felt rejected, maybe still feels a bit rejected. And it is asking you to be okay. Like, can you be okay with this rejection? Can you allow the rejection? The way we move things through is like, it's okay that I felt rejected. It's okay. I felt or I feel rejected, period. Like, nothing, put no other story on it. It's so simple. It's just, wow, there's rejection.
It's almost like I've had a few weeks ago. I'm not somebody that I would feel like gets heavily depressed often, but I was feeling it one day. I was almost going to go. I bought tickets to go out dancing with a friend, and then I was waiting around for a few hours till it was time to go. And then I said to my boyfriend, I'm about to say, fuck it. Like, I don't want to go. And then I said, I know I need to just go then, because that's not me. Like, I got to go put myself out there. And I said, just a feeling. I was laying in his bed and crying. And I was thinking of you, just saying, it's a feeling. Feel it all the way through and say it's okay. Love yourself through this feeling, and it's going to be gone. Man, I had the best time dancing after I did that. And I was so happy. So, because of your guidance, little things like that, it reminds me just to feel it. Even if I don't know how to feel it, thinking about it will ignite a feeling in me that will help pass it along. So thank you so much.
Yeah, like honestly, this is a really good example for all of us of like, if we can get to the core of like what initially and it's not about your friend, has nothing
Right.
to do with her or what she thinks or doesn't think, right? This is always about us, always.
And it was
so
also, I was thinking like, okay, why are you so like butthurt about this? Because I freaking want to travel. I want to go to
yeah,
Africa, Lori Ladd. I want to go to Boone, California. And then there's all my stories and reasonings why I don't have these trips planned. So I see like that emminess, and I go, even though we may be we're not as close as we used to be. I said to me, I'm like, we're gonna go to Italy, be going on tours and castles and parties on boats, like we're not gonna be talking about politics and all that. But because we were so split, it kind of just showed me, all right, I'm envious of wanting to travel. I don't like the feel of rejection. I think it's just letting these energies really pass through.
It
And
honest to God, it's like, okay, like, most of us would have felt rejection, and here's what's so difficult about simply just feeling is, what does rejection feel like? Oh, okay, this is rejection. This is feeling rejection. Okay, what are all the stories that I'm now putting on top of the rejection? What are all the ways that I think I need to change it or fix it? What are all the ways that she's doing it wrong or I'm doing? Those are all just extra shit that we throw on top. We have to just be aware that it's extra stuff we're throwing on top, that what's actually wanting to just be felt is rejection, which is okay to feel because it's what initially was stimulated inside your body when this happened. So why would we possibly try to figure it out, make sense of it, change it, fix it, or even try to get you? There's no way for you to move it through you other than to accept rejection. Like, it sucks. Like, the core moment of being rejected by a badass trip like that, let's be honest, that's like, ugh, hard, fuck. And like those initial emotions that you start just allowing, that is the natural response that your body's having. And as soon as we start to just allow that more and more, like, fuck, it sucks, man, it sucks. God, I don't want that. Wow, that she just broke, And here's what you want to do next, okay? It's not about whether it should have happened or it shouldn't have happened, right? There are no mistakes. You're not going.
yep.
There are no mistakes. So we can either hang on to it for a while, trying to figure out what you should or shouldn't do. No, there are no mistakes. So you either start to surrender and accept quicker through.
That's what it is, because I have that awareness, but I go, oh, I know that there's no mistakes, but let me choose to hang on to it a little bit longer. I need to just kind of
100%. Yeah, because it's like we have to. There's this need to kind of like it's a puzzle that we're trying to put together or something, and so it's a really beautiful example of, okay, let's go back to the initial sting, because that's really what's just wants to move through. Everything else is extra noise that we're playing in. So the initial sting is rejection. Everything else I get to feel as well. All the stories I get to listen to, that's all great. But it's the rejection. Like, wow, okay. And see, if you know that you're not rejection, that's the other part of you sitting next to you. It's like, girl, you can feel all of this because you're not the rejection. And so the more that you feel the moments of feeling rejection, the less you will hold on to the idea that you are rejected, because it becomes now just a simple emotion that isn't you, that just starts to move through. And then you realize that you aren't that which you thought you were. So there's still a big part of you that believes that you are connected to being accepted or not accepted. We all have this. It's a part of the human experience. Rejection is extremely painful, right? But it's not who we are. And so as more and more people reject us, perhaps, especially if you're in the dating world, right? The more you realize, the more you become unconditionally accepting of yourself. It's that practice. And so it's not about you becoming more unconditionally accepting of others. It's about you becoming accepting of you. And so it's through these moments of deep rejection and all the things that come with it. So it's going to that initial ping. We want to pay attention to that. It's recognizing that there are absolutely no mistakes, right? And then watching yourself move through it from the very human egoic perspective as well, giving yourself compassion for that. So those two things alone will start to kind of relax you.
I don't know if you could see it in my face, but I could see it in mine.
Yeah.
It's more just carrying it with me, and I really appreciate it so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate you. And
Yeah.
one last thing, real quick. I was listening to your last Untangled, half of it driving before, and it was like thing in regards to what people say I need for my future. I'm like, somehow we're all reverting back in Ashley's life where my boyfriend's like, get a job as a clerk at PSENG for a pension and retirement, and my mom going crazy about what are you going to do about it, retirement and this and that. I'm 33. I know I'm going to be taken care of by the time I'm 80, but like, come on. And I've always, like you said, it's like this knowingness, like everybody in my life, and I'll say to them, I know these things are important, but ever since I was little, I never gave a shit about it. So, like, I just don't at all to literally have to. I'm in a place where, yeah, I definitely am walking the path, going on the path less traveled on, but I keep getting shown that I'm provided for. And how am I going to plan out what my future's like at 80? It's been saying it now. I'm 33. I know by 40, things are going to be aligning in a way like all those things I'm not even going to have to worry about. So I'm like, why am I worrying about it now?
Yeah. Follow
But it's just
your
the outer world is just, I feel like I'm getting more aligned internally and everybody else is trying to pull me backwards. And I'm like, do you guys all not see the way the world is going? Like, do you not
100%.
see how it is in nursing homes and in healthcare? Like, for insurance? Like, what am I really investing in right now?
Keep following. I mean, it's continuing to follow our highest truth over and over and over, because that is where we are in our highest alignment. That's when we're most peaceful, when we're most calm, when we are most in truth, when we are most empowered, most free, is when we truly are following our highest knowing, our highest truth, and no matter what. And that's what we are continuing to practice. So I love it. I
I
love
love
it, Ashley.
you. Thank you so, so
I
much for
love you, my
everything.
friend.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for jumping
community, for
on.
everything.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys soon.
See you soon. Bye, love.
Bye.
So interesting how we try to make our what we feel or how we respond wrong, or you know, try to like turn it into like a positive thing. Like, no, rejection's rejection. And the reason that rejection's coming in is because it's still there's still an aspect of you that believes that, when someone chooses to not go on a trip with you and they say no, blah blah blah, it pings us. So we still find our worth and our value based on how someone sees us, which is completely quote unquote normal, in this kind of programmed world we live in. But everything is happening to you, for you, by you. So if you think about that and there are no mistakes, then if I am feeling rejection, it's not about this person rejecting me. It's about how I'm viewing myself. And can I allow the rejection in order for the rejection to move through? Can I allow the rejection in order for the rejection to move through? Can I allow the rejection so that I can see that I still believe that my worth is based on how someone sees me, right? And then can I start to let it move through, which is then dissolving that idea more and more. Okay, Sabine. Oh, Ashley, I didn't ask you if you are okay with us sharing. If you're still here, can you let me know if you're okay with me sharing the clip? Hi, Sabine.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for picking me.
You're welcome. How are you?
I had a mini session with you 1.5 years ago, and you said I should sit for 5 to 20 minutes every day, just sit, and I did that. And you said it would be very important to find out my limiting beliefs. But to be honest, I don't think I have any more limiting beliefs. Or they are totally subconscious. I feel worthy to have the life I want to have. I really don't know. Is there anything else I should do?
Bravo!
No, really. I don't know if it's so deep that I'm not conscious and I cannot get or haven't got conscious of them, or I don't know.
Here's the thing about it. If nothing's arising, nothing's arising. And you have to just trust that. I mean, there's a humbleness to how this human journey unravels for each of us. And it's different and it's unique and different for each of us. Some of us will have these really tumultuous dark nights of the soul like I had, and that I may continue to have. I don't know. I have no control over it. I'm letting it unravel, right? And some of us may have your experiences like you're having, where it's like, listen, it's not that I'm not paying attention. It's not that I'm not conscious. It's not like I'm not doing the kind of internal, playground where I'm going in. There's just no intense limiting beliefs. And so that just is, if a limiting belief comes up, I guarantee you'll hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's not coming up, don't go searching for it.
Okay.
There's nothing we have this idea that there's something wrong with us if we have the limiting beliefs. There's something wrong with us if we don't have the limiting beliefs. There's always something wrong with us.
No, I don't think there's something wrong with me, but like 1.5 years ago you said the life you want to have is right, it's there already. Just sit quietly, because I always have this very busy mind. Just commit to sit quietly every day, and I did. And you said to be conscious of become conscious of my limiting beliefs. So I didn't find any. So I'm thinking, okay, it's 1.5 years ago. I mean, I'm okay. It's okay, but it's still not the life I really want to have. And I came here on the planet to live.
So the bigger question is not finding the limiting the beliefs. The bigger question is to look at the idea or the belief that you're not living the life you want to live. So what life do you want to live?
I want to live in nature, and I'm not living in nature at all.
And why are you not living in nature?
Well, I'm sorry, I need to plug in my cell phone. At that time I said should I quit my job? And you said no, there's no need to quit your job, because then you'll be in fear, or and to be honest, I don't even know where that would be. I just know I wanted to be in nature. And I don't know if it would be in Germany, if it would be in a different country. I really don't know yet where.
Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, don't listen to anything I say. Don't listen to what anyone else says. Listen to you, okay? Like, please, God, if I tell you not to quit your job, don't do that just because I told you not to quit your freaking job. Please, God, do not listen to me. Please, listen to you. So I or anyone else may give you suggestions, but please, God, do not listen to us as the end all be all. Here's what I will point you in. This is how creation happens in a very slow third dimensional existence. Okay. How do you want, and like, write this down. You have a piece of paper? Okay.
Yeah.
How do I want to feel? How do I want to feel?
I know that.
Okay. How do I want to be?
Yes.
Okay. Now, okay, great. If you can hold those feelings every day, even if it's you like really feeling into what it feels like when you're in nature, right? Like that, what does that, Sabine, feel like? Okay. Not I'm in nature. No, the feeling of being in nature.
Mm.
If and this is for all of us, if we start to tap into that feeling state, forget about the details, forget about what needs to happen, forget about I have limiting beliefs I need to see. If you simply start tapping into that throughout your day, so you're cooking and you're feeling into, not a visualization, a feeling state. You will be pulled, that will be created in your reality, whether it's truly just right where you are right now, you start to feel that more and more, or your soul guides you to something new. That doesn't matter. The details don't matter. Should I quit my job? Should I not quit my job? Because if we believe because what you're doing is you're starting to align with soul, or you're aligned with your higher self, which is a feeling state. It's not a detail state. It's not a doing state. It's not a figuring out state. It's a feeling state. Okay. And so what you want to start, or what I encourage, but do what you want to do, is your world, is to tap into, what do I want to feel? What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? Not details of this descriptions of what I want. What do you want to feel? I want to feel that feeling when I'm in nature where it's like, you're just at home, you're at peace. It's just, you can relax. Like, that's the feeling that you want to start to grab more and more. And if you can start holding that, that's your north node. That's your soul or higher self calling you. That is, and then if there is a direction that you're supposed to go, you will start being called to that. So it's like you're refocusing your compass that's been off a little bit, because the ego's like, oh, you got to do these certain things or whatever. And it's like, no, just do this. Come back to the feeling states of how you want to feel, because all the other details will come in. Your radar doesn't need to go find the details, okay, of how, why, when, whatever. No, this the feeling state of how you want to be and feel in the world. And we connect it to nature because nature provides it. When you're in nature, you feel those things. So it's like, oh, should I quit my job and go move to nature? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But it's a feeling state that's inside of you. And if that can be the driving force of how you want to be or feel in the world, let that build. Let that joy and excitement build. And that's going to be difficult and challenging, perhaps it will, because where you are isn't necessarily what you would equate to how you want to feel. So it's almost like you're waiting for something to happen so that you can start to feel these things.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we do. But we don't know where to go or what to do or how to do it. So we're just waiting.
Yeah, but I know exactly how I want to feel, and I do it like every morning. But as you said, maybe I should do it like more often throughout the day.
Just hold it as a reality. So like, it's hard to describe like the how-to of this, but like, it's kind of like what I was saying with Wes. You're trying to, or you're practicing feeling a state of alignment. So it's where you know that all is okay. You know that all is well. The feeling state of whatever you want to feel is right here. And you're going to continue to be pulled into it. You're going to continue to be shown what's next. You're going to continue. These are the things that you kind of have to hold in your conscious awareness. And that's what stokes the fire or builds the fire. It's not enough any longer for us to just do it during a practice in the morning. This is creation. This is how we this is how we build the kind of the natural state of who we are as soul or as light or as God in form, as consciousness in form, as higher self in form, whatever word you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that you can stoke that fire throughout your day of how you want to feel, the bigger it becomes, and the bigger it becomes, the more it's going to guide you. It's going to say, okay, guess what? We're going to go move. And you're going to be like, yes, we're moving. Because when you're in alignment with soul or higher self, this is what's next, and you do it.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
feels so good. You're like, oh my God, this is what's next. There's no doubts. There's no questions. You just know. And you're so stoked because you finally feel like you know what you're doing next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have to start somewhere, which is, okay, higher self needs you, the egoic part that's like doing life. It needs you to tap into the spirit or soul or higher self needs you to tap into how you want to feel over and over throughout your day. So just however you want to do it, however it works for you. I the way I do it, unless I'm going through a hellacious, dark, heavy death of ego like I am right now, then it's forget about it. We're just trying to survive. But if you're not, then when I would, like, prior to this past week, how I do it is I'm in a constant awareness that soul is leading me, and so or higher self is leading me, and even that thought drops me into a different state of being. And so even just me doing that really shifts me. That's how I bring myself into how do I want to feel. Right now, it's really, really difficult. So it's like, I have to really focus on the state, like how do I want to, what I really have to focus on what alignment feels like, because I'm so far away from alignment right now. It's so far away. That's why it can be so scary when we have these really dark moments, because you're pulled so far from soul. You're pulled so far from alignment. And so the farther you get pulled from alignment or soul, the more you have to literally like scratch your way back into what it feels like. Like, God, alignment to me just feels like ease, and I'm good, and I'm taken care of, and it's calm. And I mean, it's very much like what nature feels like, but these are these are our natural states of being. Whether you live in a city or in a country, whether you're surrounded by birds or surrounded by trash cans, like, this is our natural state. And so for many of us, it might not be, oh, off you go to this beautiful countryside. It might not happen like that right away. That's why we're so courageous. That's why we are warriors. That's why we're on what I call the battlefield, is because it's not always about you getting somewhere in order to feel it. We're doing it right now. And that's why we're freaking badass, because, so many of us are, we have 3 jobs, like Les, 3 jobs. And we live in these cities that are congested, and we're remembering who we are, and we want to be in that peaceful, calm state, or whatever it is that we desire. And you look around, you're like, I don't know how I'm supposed to get out of this, or where I'm supposed to go, or what I'm supposed to do. Everything unravels for you when it's designed to unravel for you. Your job is just to continue to bring yourself into, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? How do I want to feel?
Okay. Right. Yeah.
How do I want to feel? And just really a visual, if it means you need to visualize yourself in nature, and just pay attention, just a little bit of attention to anything that comes up around what that means. Like, am I going to be moving? Should I move? When am I going to move? just anything that may arise, and there may be nothing that arises, and so that's even more great. You don't have to worry about any of that. But we do want to.
What do you mean? Because for me, yes, to live in nature means, yes, I have to move because I'm not living in nature. And that's my signature. You talked about that in the mini session that I had with you. And that's why I have been feeling, even before you said it, very strongly. And also like living with a, let's call it divine partner, a loving partnership. Yeah, these two things. But yes, I think I'm sure I have to move because I don't have not even a forest here, and so that's not nature for me.
Okay.
So do you mean that?
Yes, that's what I mean.
What you meant. Did you mean that is a limiting belief if I think I have to move to
Yes.
live in nature?
Yes, I'll tell you why. Because it's a limiting belief in the sense that anything that tells you that you have to do something in order to have what you already have right here and now is a limiting belief. Now, is it true? Okay, is that belief true that you have to be in nature in order to be with your divine partner and to have, is that true?
No, I don't have to be in nature to be with my divine partner.
Do you?
No,
okay, so
but I want to live in nature with my divine partner.
Perfect. So it's you want to, but you don't have to. Okay,
No.
now, do you have to live in nature in order to feel what nature gives you? Is that absolutely true?
I can imagine it, like going back to when I was in nature and feel how I felt that time. If you mean that, do you mean that?
You can't imagine it, but is it true that you can't feel how you felt in nature where you are right now? Is that
no? I can feel it here also. Yes.
Okay, that is what the idea that you have to move or that you have to do that in order to experience it is the belief that you want to pay attention to, because it's not meaning that you're not going to move. It's not meaning that it's not for the highest outcome for you. Okay, because it most likely is what's in your path, in your divine path, because you're feeling called to it. It's in your heart's desire, so it will happen. Here's what's so challenging and difficult about this process that we're in right now, is that we have to recognize that it's in the right here, right now that we are creating. So if you're constantly thinking that it's when I'm in nature, I've got to get to nature. When I'm in nature, blah, blah, blah.
I understand, yeah.
Then it's almost like you're in a state of a tiny bit of suffering, because it's like, well, what's happening? Why am I not? I need to figure something out, right? So that is not to say, see, this is the thing about accepting or surrendering. It's not to say that that is not going to happen or that you shouldn't have that strong desire, because that's in your heart. It will happen. Your job is not to figure out when, how, why is that going to happen. Your job is to be in that state that you want to feel in nature with your divine partner right here, right now, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know that you're going to meet some random stranger who's going to pick you up and be like, I've got this place and we're going to move to like New York City. And you're like, what are you talking about? I'm thinking I'm going to have a farm in the outskirts of freaking Berlin or wherever. And so you don't know. Your job is not to be in charge.
Yeah, and I'm not, and I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah,
and that feels really great. I know I'm going to be there, and I don't need to know how to get there.
That's what you want to. That's the feeling you want to hold more and more. So it's more of an excitement of how you want to feel, as opposed to what's going to happen. But still allowing that heart's desire to be there. So, so it's a real fine balance. But it's not how you want to feel is not contingent on that. The more that you can embrace it and embody it now, that you're going to start to literally, especially if you don't have a lot of limiting beliefs, you're going to be like life is going to be so much more beautiful right here, right now, that you're not going to care if you ever go to nature, because you're going to start learning and remembering and practicing what nature gives you right here, right now. You're going to find freaking heaven in the trash and in the dirt and in the crazy. That's the practice. And then when you get to nature, you're like, oh, wow, this is such an extra gift. I'm so happy I'm here now. But you've already mastered it. You don't wait until you get to nature in order to master it. But you still hold that desire. It's not like you shouldn't want to go to nature. I mean, of course, nature is the most incredible thing, and it's going to light you up, and it's going to, but where are you right here, right now? This is the moment where you are alive. This is the moment where you are at peace and in calm. This is the moment where you are excited and enjoy it's right here, right now, no matter what your external circumstance is. And that is a big challenge for us, and that's not to say for those people that are feeling called to go to nature and they're looking for houses in nature to not follow your heart's desire. Follow your heart's desire by all means, like be the lion and freaking go. But in the meantime, if nothing's unraveling in terms of here's what's next, okay, you're sort of in that pause waiting period, feel it now. That is how you accelerate that quantum leap. That's how you quantum leap into something. It's not about quantum leaping into nature. It's about quantum leaping into the experience of it right here, right now. And then you realize, holy shit, I don't actually need nature. Then you become free. And then nature becomes like extra. It's like, holy shit, nature is so beautiful. I love it so much, but I actually am good with or without nature. Like, holy shit. Right? Like what?
Okay. I got it. Thank you so much. It was really helpful.
Yeah, it was really helpful for all of us. Thank you, Sabine. Are you okay with me sharing this?
Yes,
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, my love.
Thank you so much again.
You. I love your hair.
Thanks. I love you so much. Yes, really. Like the same as Wes said. I can't say it as beautiful as he did, but I feel exactly the same.
Yeah. I love you, my friend.
Love you too. Thanks. Bye.
I mean, nature is so important. Let's not, it's very, very important. It feels really, really good. It connects us. It reminds us. And we will be called into nature more and more. But literally last night, I was in the dark depths of my beingness and my just dark. And I opened my door, and if you saw where I lived, there's trees all around, right? But there's a street. It's pretty. But it's not like I'm not like in like nature, although I guess I'm in nature, but there's telephone wires and houses everywhere. Okay. Busy street right in front of my house. But I walked outside and just stood. I walked over to like a grassy area, kind of more like weeds, and I just stood there for like 10 minutes. And I just looked at the trees and I looked at the cars going by, and that was enough. Fresh air was enough. There's nothing wrong with having these really strong desires for something in the world. I don't have to walk. I don't walk in nature very often. I just stand there. I don't go for walks. I'm not kidding. I just need to be in that energy, but I can be in that energy right outside my house if I just have a bird, or if I just have a grass, or if I just have a tree. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. I think it's really important. Like, in terms of desires and wants, it's not about like for me, what I think is important for us to pay attention to right now is not desires or wants that are like these external things you need to have. It's a desire of how you want to feel. It's a wanting of how you want to feel. You know, what do you want when is more of a what do you want to feel? You know, because otherwise it's just we're just constantly in the loop, you know, the recycled looping of the something outside of me is going to give me what it is that my soul or higher self knows how to provide for me. Okay, is there anyone else that wants to raise their hand and come in? I love that you feed the birds. I don't see anyone else's hands raised. So if you are here on the chat box, just say pick me and I can bring you in. I can be in that energy sitting in my window with the sun coming on my face. Love that. I give the birds always the food which is outdated and sometimes the fat balls I buy. What's fat balls? What are fat balls? Eat. Oh, it's with fat and seeds. My crowdcast is acting up sometimes. It just acts up. And I can't see. All right, we'll do one more and then we'll be done. Just trying to pull it up. Hold on, you guys. Give me a second. See if we can get Martina on stage. Kids are the best. Okay, looks like neither of these beautiful humans are able to come. Oh, there we go.
Hi.
Hey, Martina, we made
Hi.
it.
I actually logged out because I was doing some other stuff, and then I heard my name, and it's like, oh, I'm still on.
Yay. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
This feels a bit surreal to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. Good to see you.
You too. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna go back. I forgot everything. Okay, I'm gonna go to the question. Okay, so I feel like I'm really, what's the English word? Like scattered, like here. And I have so many channels, and also my mind and my wounds, and like I don't know what to listen to. I have so many ideas coming out. And I feel if I speak to someone and I can feel I have a connection, and I start like, oh, we can do this and this and this. And then afterwards I feel like anxiety, like, why did I get myself into another thing? I just need to kind of connect with myself, because I feel that as well. So I don't know
I know that feeling very well.
Yeah.
The practice for me is I seem to get myself into situations where I'm doing something with someone, whether it's work related or any or planning something. And in that moment, it's like, yeah, this feels so good. This feels right on. Like, yeah, this is absolutely aligned in this moment. But in 6 hours, I may be like, what did I do? Why did I just plan all that or agree to all that or create all that or a day from now or a week from now? Um, and what I have practiced, and this has taken me a very, this has taken me a lot of practice, is in that moment where you are feeling that flow state with someone where it's like, oh yeah, you're this feels right. And this could be anything, you guys. This could be planning an event, planning a date, planning a dinner, planning a trip, planning work stuff, whatever it is. In that moment, it's feeling really good. When I'm in that moment of this feels really good, this feels like let's do this and let's do this and let's do that. I don't do it. So I stop myself from that like super excited state. And it's almost like I have to pull myself back into um, a less excited state so that I don't create something that I potentially am not going to want to fulfill later on. And so it's almost like when you get into a relationship and you're like, oh my God, I love you so much. This is the best relationship I've ever been in. I cannot wait to get married. And it's only been day 2. You're like, but I really feel it. I know this. I know that you're the one. It's like, oh, it's just the feelings right now that you're having. Like, give it a couple months and you may think otherwise. And so there's a slowing down. So imagine that you're literally like, it's like you have to, it's not that you don't want to stay excited or create or whatever, but you have to slow down the reactionary, it's our reactions that we have to slow down. Where, oh my God, this is a great idea. And let's do this and let's do that and let's do that. There is something powerful around having those creative sparks. It means that you're alive. It means that you're active in that field. It means that you're open. So there's constant creation happening. But the frustrating piece is that nothing quite necessarily lands, which means that it lasts the marathon, you know? And so you can imagine that throughout your days or weeks or months, there's going to be these magical moments of like, wow, this just feels it. This feels right. This feels good. Okay. And then 3 days from now, it's no longer active in you. It's no longer there. It happens to me I have something set to go to sell for March 3rd that I'm like, I'm not going to do it because right now it no longer feels resonant and I refuse to do something that doesn't feel alive. Right. And so I've paid this money to create the sales landing page and all of this. And it's like, I'm not doing it. But a week ago, it was the most active thing in my field. I was like, oh my God, this is what needs to come next. And for me, it's always changing. And this is not just in creating things for your career, your job, it's friends, relationships. It's like, it's going to come and go. The ways in which you are interacting, there's going to be, there may be a lot that comes in terms of creativeness or ideas. And it can maybe feel chaotic or stressful, like, oh my God, which one do I do? Or how do I know which one to do? So you want to recognize that one, you're open to this kind of beautiful quantum you're open, you're very open. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so you're receiving. But the problem with receiving too is that it's chaotic and it's like this is worse than not receiving, right? Because you're trying to juggle which direction or what to do or what to follow or following something and then it dies away and it's like, well, what was the point of all of that? This is the creative field. This is the flow state. This is you open to what's arising, everything drops in, one thing drops in, 6 things drop in, and then something eventually lands. And so being okay with that kind of chaotic creative state and saying yes to something, and then you follow it and then like, oh, it dies, but your responsibility in all of that is to recognize that there may be other humans that are part of that journey, okay? And so you kind of have to be sensitive to those humans that may not understand what's happening from that more quantum perspective, where, it's like, no, I'm just getting these ideas and I'm following them in the moment, but I can't help it. They're no longer here anymore, so I can't keep going. And they're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? We planned this. This is our project. This is what we're doing. And we can't do what is no longer in soul. And so things that drop in, creativity comes and creativity goes. You're going to feel sparked about something and then you're not. And you're going to feel driven by things for a while and then it's going to go away. That is the creative field. That is what happens. But things do land. And they do last. But it's not as often as the creative pumps that come in. And so what we want to practice and learn is how to slow down, and how to not be as reactive, like, oh, this is it. This is the one that's gonna be great. Start to become humble to how the creative process works and how alignment works, which is like, I may feel so super aligned right now, like it is an absolute yes. And I have to remember that just because I feel that, I may not feel that tomorrow. And
is it even my feeling? I think sometimes maybe it's more, I feel something for them and it feels like mine. Or is it mine? You know what I mean?
share more.
If I'm talking to someone, I can. It happens a lot in like business for me, in other areas as well. But I've been working, have my own business as an accountant, and I always feel the more creative. I only have customers in the spiritual field, so we can speak in that language as well. And we always start like, we can do this and this and this. And I think sometimes, is it more a message for them and it's not about me? And should I listen to that? Because that's another perspective, because I never seem to know what I'm supposed to do, but I keep getting this like.
Oh, got it. So the creative flow that's coming through you is a creative flow that's giving them options or give them ideas. It's like you're giving them suggestions and giving them
I don't know if it's for them or if it's for me. Like, I feel like it's for me, but it happens when I speak to other people. And then it kind of change when I'm not connected to these people anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. So it's like, is it even mine?
Okay, so it turns on or it activates or it lights up when you are engaging with a customer or client. And is it like, oh, this is what we should do. We should now do this. Is it you doing something with them? Is it you, both of you guys doing something together?
Yeah, I think it's mixed. I don't know if it's just like possibilities. Sometimes I also feel like, oh, I should do this, and I'm not acting on it. And then the next week I see, like in a Facebook flow or I hear someone started the exact same thing. It's like that was the exact same thing that I thought maybe I could do. And then so it's like,
okay.
But I don't see like my part in it other than seeing it.
Okay. Okay, so it's not coming in just to be seen. The way creation works, the way So the good thing is that you're receiving. Okay, you're receiving ideas, you're receiving opportunities, you're receiving it from like something outside of you that feels like it comes in, which is so beautiful. It's so great. It's that's like the way the quantum field works with us. Okay, that's the quantum field. You're basically playing in the quantum field. It's really fun. And so now it becomes for you, what it feels like is that there's not been quite an understanding, which makes sense, of like what's happening, and so it's kind of like these things are coming in, and then maybe in the moment it's shared and it's given, and then maybe something's coming in for you to do, but then you don't necessarily do it, and then you realize, oh, maybe I should have done it. So you're starting to open up to how to create from the quantum field. It's very different than how we've ever created in the past, because it drops in, and when it drops in, it's like, here it comes, this is it, and you don't have a choice, and you didn't choose it. But when you're playing in the quantum field, you're not choosing. It just drops in. And so it's like, oh, this just came through. Oh, this just came through. Oh, this just came through. And so I wouldn't say that it's only for your clients. What I would say is that you're being open and receptive in the quantum field. Some of the things may be for you, some of the things may be for your clients. And so what happens in this quantum space is that when an idea, let's just call it an idea, pops in, they don't stop. So you'll have another one, you'll have another one, it's how I do my business. I do my business in the quantum field. So I don't plan much. I don't have like a year plan of like, I'm going to do this. I don't do that. I just wait until something drops in. And so when something drops in, that's an opportunity. So now it's an opportunity. Is this something I want to do? Is this something that I'm telling my clients to do? If it's coming in, it can be for you or for them or for both, but it's an opportunity. It's like, okay, creation time, and you as the human, you have free will, so you can decide if you're going to grab it and do something with it or not. It's unpredictable. You don't know when it's going to come next, right? And so it's starting to be aware of when it does drop in, these ideas, when they drop in, you can either take it and start to build with it. That's what I do. So when I create a class or a course or anything, it first just drops in as like an idea. Like a line came in as like, oh, wonder if I did something for 21 days. So there's the idea, right? And then it built. It was like, well, what does that mean? What would it look like? How would I do it? What would I charge? So then the idea drops in from the quantum field. And I say the quantum field because it literally feels like it comes from like it drops in. And then you take it and you start to build. And and here's how I always work. I have no attachment to whether it is manifested into reality or not. Okay. So I just keep building it. And if it keeps feeling aligned, then it births into reality. Okay. And if I build it and it's like, oh, I'm not in alignment with it anymore, and I just built half of it, I got to let it go. That's also the quantum field. And you have to trust that something else will drop in. That's the flow state. And it's really chaotic. And try having people work for you when you do this. Like, have a market. There's a woman here in our Patreon, Becky. She's my marketing woman. She's my right-hand woman. Now here she's marketing. She's like, we plan, this, we got a month, and when we got 2 months, she's planned and organized. And I'm like, I don't fucking know what that means. Like, what do you mean? Like, no, so it's like, I might plan something and create something, and then it may never happen. Or I may have something drop in, and 3 days later it has to be put out, so it has to be created back. So you're learning how to be in the more kind of quantum creative space, and you're just being shown, through Facebook groups, like, wow, that was an idea that I was given. Like, when it comes again, maybe I will have a little bit more confidence that it's real. Right? Like, oh, wait, this is real. And also maybe some of the things you're offering to your clients might be for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like, what's coming? It may be for them as well. It may be just helping you practice unconsciously how to receive the next idea and the next idea and the next idea. But you're learning how to create from a very out of control state of the quantum field,
Mm-hmm.
and you're learning. So when the idea comes in again, the next hit comes, and maybe it's activated by you working with your clients.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so pay attention to that too, because what could be happening is that you're getting kind of activated into creation when you are with your clients, but it may not always be your clients. It may be for you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's okay whatever you share with them and what you offer them, but can you slow down enough in those moments of sharing where you start to try to be like, wait, is this for them or is this for me? Maybe this is my idea. Let me jot this down for a second and hold that for me. And because that could be happening too, where the creative spark, the opening, the ideas pop in when you are with clients. But also pay attention, because my greatest kind of ideas will come when I'm getting a massage, or when I'm sitting in a sauna, or um, uh, where else have I gotten good drops? In my yoga class, it'll pop in, right? So they'll pop in, and then you have to be aware of what's happening, and so when it pops in, don't push it aside. Recognize, okay, this is a hit coming in or an idea coming in, and let me feel into this. Let me play with this. What does it feel like? What would it look like?
I think it's easy to see it and feel it and understand it. That's not my problem. The problem is to do something with it, because as soon as I go to bed and wake up, it's gone. It's like a dream.
Okay, you have to ground it in. Then
yeah.
So what I do is I did it right before we started class today. I was getting this idea of a class to teach, and so I literally I just started writing down some words. Just I have to anchor it in. Otherwise it floats away.
Yeah.
It's very visceral. It's very spacey. It's like, if you don't grab it and anchor it in, it will be gone.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if it's an idea that you're absolutely supposed to do, it will keep coming in. I've had that. Right? But a lot of times it's gone. You're like, wait, where is it? I can't grab it anymore. Right? It's like, it's just disappeared. So in the moment where something drops in, okay, I want you to visualize that this is like, okay, this is an opportunity, a gift, a potential next thing. So what is it? Like, what's the word that I hear? And when, as soon as you kind of jot it down, just write something, you've anchored it. You're starting to anchor it. And then then you have to it's like you're unwrapping a gift. But you don't know what's inside. So you have to hold the gift. You have to figure out how to keep the gift in your seat, in your chair with you. And so anchoring it by writing down words or the ideas of it is great. Feeling into it, what does it feel like? And starting to recognize, if you can really recognize what's happening in those moments, even that is a deeper anchoring. Really realizing, oh my God, here comes an idea. Okay, this is an idea. Okay, because we will push aside these ideas and just as if it's just whatever it is, a thought, and we're not creating from that. That's spirit coming in and saying, here you go.
Yeah.
It's soul saying, here you go. So when you feel it again, the next time you feel it, like it pops in, a random thought, a random idea, a random whatever, write it down. And for me, my experience has always been, I have to dissect it. I have to kind of peel it apart. Like, wait, what is it going to look like? And that's when the working it out starts to happen. But it happens quickly, at least for me. And there's no attachment to it. So if it goes away, it goes away. But you do want to start anchoring them down and playing around with them. And there could be 5 or 6 that come in, and then there's one that lands and actually goes forward with your business. But this is how evolution happens in our work. You know, it's something kind of bigger than you, that's moving you, that is you, but you don't know necessarily how to do it or what's next. It just starts to come in. All right. So wherever you are, no matter where you are, if you're going to bed, jot it down. If you're driving, jot it down, you know, or force yourself to remember. Like there's been times where I've been in a massage and I'm like, okay, I got to remember this. I got to remember this. I got to remember this, you know, and then I write it down as soon as I get out. And so they're very, very powerful moments. So pay attention, you know, when you're with your clients. Maybe it's for them, maybe it's for you. Either way, slow down a little bit in the reaction to it and see, you know, is it who is this for? You know, it could be you giving them their own soul's message, their own higher self's message, because they can't hear it. A lot of us can't hear the ideas yet. We're all in the quantum field, so we all have access to these what's next for us. But yeah, slowing down a little, paying attention, remembering what's actually happening. It's very uncomfortable in the beginning on some levels, like we're trying to like figure this all out, but it's also really beautiful and powerful, and it's a lot of fun because you start to realize like the magic of creating from a now moment, and you build something. You can build something so beautifully from just this one drop. Yeah. That makes sense?
It does, yeah. And I think what you said in the beginning, like don't follow the when I feel high. It's more like when I know, when it's kind of within me as well, then it's more for me.
Yeah, but also what you're speaking of is when you do feel that high feeling, just write it down. Because it is powerful. Like when it comes in, it's just being careful if it has to do with other people. That's where it's like, okay, slow down. Because for me, there's been many times where I'm super excited to do something with someone else, and then that's a bad idea, Lori. Like, nope, you know, not everybody works in the quantum field the way you do, and they're not going to understand. You're like, just kidding, I'm not doing it. Like people don't. That's just not going to. It just doesn't fly very well. So if you're doing something with someone else in that quantum space, just be careful, because not everybody understands. Most people don't understand that space. But it comes in and it's like there's this excitement. Write it down, unpack it, you know. Recognize that it may not be the thing that's going to unravel, right? But it's okay. So you kind of you let the excitement sort of unpack it all, but it's not necessarily the thing that's gonna, you know, and really to be okay with that, but also be excited and open and move. That's the flow state. Is that there's just, you know, you're moving to what's next and what's next and what's next. Yeah, just staying in that open space and playing in that field. I mean, this is truly playing in the quantum field. What you're doing, it's so fun and exciting, but also like, wait, it's so.
It is, but it's also very lonely, I think, because people don't speak that language.
Very lonely. It's very lonely, and you feel
it's like
very
I know
weird.
things. I know things and I see things, and then they're always so big. and
Yeah.
it's like everything is included, like the whole
Yeah.
world is, you know, everything. And when you're gonna try to put it down into something small and real, it's how do I put everything, you know?
So you have to learn how to sit with it and unpack it. You've got to
Yeah.
write it down. You've
Yeah.
got to ground it. Otherwise, it will stay really big, and it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's just overwhelming, and it's too difficult. So it's easier to just kind of let it go than it is to unpack it. So it's if it feels overwhelming, if it feels really big, that's okay. Like that's how it's coming in. So you have to learn how to sit and unpack it so that you can actually do something with it. Okay. So however you're accessing the quantum field right now, it's just coming in, it sounds like, in more of like these. So in the quantum field, just really quickly, like, information is high frequency. And then as it comes in, it can get diluted into lower frequencies. And the lower the frequency of the information, the easier it is to do something with it. But a lot of times what happens, or what we experience, is that this high frequency information comes in, and our ego is so slow, our bodies are so slow, low frequency, that we don't understand, like, wait, what is this? And what am I supposed to do with this? And how do I, what, like, you don't even really, there's no words for it. You're like, what am I supposed to do with this? How does this make sense? And so it's almost like a torturous math problem where you have to, like, you have to peel it apart. You have to break it apart. You have to break it down.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's not necessarily always easy. It's kind of like this quantum mathematics that you're doing sort of in the energy world, but you want to start doing it. Because then it gets easier and easier and easier and easier, and then you really start to choose, like, nope, I like that one, nope, I don't like that one, I like that one, I don't like that one, I'm going with that, I'm not going with that. It becomes easier to kind of choose, but it also just comes whenever it comes, so it's not like you have any control over it. You know? Yeah, it's really, I love what you're talking about. It's how it's how I lived for quite some time in my business, and it's not, most people don't build a business like that.
Yeah.
So it feels lonely, it feels weird, it feels like you're the only one that does it like this. Like, you feel crazy. But it's, in my opinion, it's how you do business in more of a quantum space.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's the only way I can do business. So I don't really have a choice, because everything else just, it doesn't work. I can't.
Yeah. You don't have a choice. Yeah. So just recognize what's happening, and it's got to be integrated, or it's got like. And when it comes in, like, really recognize, okay, this is an opportunity right now when it's coming in. I'm going to write it all down, and, it may or may not stick. One of the things that you may be having to kind of deal with or battle with right now is maybe, I'm not going to say, what would the word be that could be coming up? And so pay attention to this, because there's always, like, human shadow stuff that we're looking at, but follow through. So it's really interesting, right? Because on one level, it's quantum. So it's like, if it hits, it hits. And if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. And if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. However, there's a shadowy side to that, which is follow through. Okay. Meaning you may start something and just never finish it. And so really kind of just recognizing, the balancing between those two. It's just a fine line, right? Because you don't want to follow through with something that doesn't resonate any longer. However, you also don't want to stop something because you have this shadowy part within your personality that doesn't want to
Mm.
follow through with something because it's afraid of success, or it's afraid of being bigger or making more money or whatever that is. So just something to be aware of, as we're navigating the fields. You
Mm.
don't want to just just to have like a cop out of like, oh, it's not resonating anymore. Unless, I mean, it's most of the time that's truly what's happening, but there
Mm.
is this ability for those of us that are afraid of success, that may not follow through or really push it all the way to completion.
Mhm.
There can be fear right before it's go time. There can be resistance. There can be limiting beliefs that come in. There can be a lot of that happens that has nothing to do with alignment.
Mm.
This is what's, these little shadowy aspects do come in, can come in, will come in, as we are getting closer to it being completely ready to be put out in the world.
Mm.
And so we sabotage it. So just paying attention to that, and like, and the way you pay attention to it is you just listen to the beliefs,
Mhm.
right? The soul's not going to have any belief. It's just not going to feel aligned to it anymore.
Mm.
The personality, the shadowy aspects are going to say, you can't do this. Don't do it. No one's going to do this. No one's going to buy it. This is stupid. That's not soul. That's
Mm.
not higher self.
Yeah.
That's not in alignment, my friend. That's
Mhm.
any beliefs that are convincing you, little devilish parasites coming in saying, nope. Right. So
Yeah.
really recognizing the difference between, because we will do cop outs of like, well, I'm just not in alignment with it anymore. Really? You sure?
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Or are you just really afraid of actually jumping into something bigger and opening yourself up to something more and something new and something that's going to expand you? And so
Mm.
just pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Because that can happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we have ideas and then we see someone else do it, we're like, okay, that's a slap across the face the soul just gave us. Like,
Mm.
trust
I can
yourself.
feel relief too, like now I don't have to actually do it like
Yeah,
that.
of course. Like, yeah. I mean, when you start getting the what's next from soul, it's not easy.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of courage. And there's a lot of growth that happens when you start to follow more of the soul or higher self calling as opposed to the ego's calling. Because
Mhm.
when you do things that your ego wants, like, oh, I'm going to start this business and I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it look like this, you're in control. So it's
Yeah.
not that hard. But when you have to start to follow the calling of the higher self or the soul, it's a whole other level of showing up,
Mhm.
because you're trusting in something that you don't have control over. And it typically is going to expand you into the unknown. It's going to take you to places that you aren't sure you're going to be able to do. It's most likely you're going to take up more space. You're going to make more money. You're like, all these things are going to happen. And a huge amount of insecurity, self-doubt, unworthiness. I can't do it. Okay, I don't have to do it now. Those are all going to pop up. And so you have to push through it.
Mm.
That's the piece that's like, you don't want to cop out. You want to, many times I've had to push through. I've had to get real clear on what is actual soul alignment,
Mm.
myself, and what is actually my deep, 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 shadowy, limiting beliefs, and doing the calling within the soul, no matter
Yeah.
what. Beautiful.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks, Martina. It was
Integrate
great.
it.
Do you
Yeah.
mind if I share this on YouTube?
No, that's okay.
Okay. All right, my love.
Yeah.
Keep staying open. Good job.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
All right, you guys. We are done. 2.5 hours. I don't know how that happened. That's it. That is it. I am going to post this entire 2.5 hours on YouTube. And that's all. It goes so quick. Thanks you guys for being here. Thanks Michelle, Haley, Lars, Tammy, Carla, Tina, everyone else that I can't see. Mariska, Aisling, all of you guys. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next Thursday for our live Q&A call. If you do sign up for the Art of Living retreat or workshop by Sunday night, I will see you Monday morning for our activation call. If you've already signed up for the workshop, I will see you for the activation call. It's on Zoom. Should have gotten an email. And take a look at the Art of Living retreat, April 19th to the 21st, that I'm going to be doing. I will leave the link in the Patreon page. I'll also leave it down below in the YouTube description if this is up on YouTube. I love you guys. Thanks for being here with me. It's been a rocky ride this week, but it's always a gift to be here with you, sharing this space. So thanks. I love you, and I'll see you Thursday, 3 p.m. I think, for our Q&A. Mwah.